As an adult at Walt Disney World, can meeting a character be a super special experience? Find out today here on Walt Disney World, Adults Only. Welcome, your Royal Highnesses. I'm Dan and you're watching Walt Disney World Adults Only. I'm actually a bit of a sweaty Dan today, so please bear with me. It's hotter here in London than it is in Hawaii. It's 33 degrees Celsius and I'm literally melting. For those of you that have watched our channel before, you will know that I am not the greatest fan of character meet and greets. That said, I've got nothing against them, and if I see a character with no queue, I will always stop to get a photo. And if you've watched our character dining video, you will know that I've been to my fair share of character dining experiences as well. With all that being said, I do have a couple of amazing standout memories of character meet and greets I'm going to share with you today. They were fun, special, memorable, and in one instance, really quite scary. So for today's video, I have pulled some of our team together to reveal their favourite character interactions at Walt Disney World. And of course, I want to hear about yours as well. So pop down into the comments and tell me about your best character interaction at Walt Disney World. And please tell me why it was special to you. I'm going to start with my own today, and I have got two extra special character interactions to tell you about. Now, I have met lots of characters and I've got so many good stories, but these two really do stand out to me and they are the most memorable. So let's start with Cruella de Vil. This was at Mikki's Not So Scary Halloween party at Magic Kingdom way back in 2017. And it was completely unplanned. I didn't know Cruella de Vil was even going to be there to do a meet and greet, and I had no plans to try and meet her. In fact, I wanted to meet the Seven Dwarfs, but the wait time was over 3 hours long, and there is no way in the world that you will ever get me waiting that long for anything. No way ever. Now, I was told during the first fireworks show at the party, the wait times to meet characters drops significantly. And that is exactly what happened. The wait time went from over 3 hours down to around 30 minutes. And whilst typically I won't wait for characters, this was the Seven Dwarfs and I really wanted my photo with them. So I got in the line and actually got my picture taken with the Seven Dwarfs in less than 30 minutes. Yep, I think that was quite a good use of my time. Anyway, having got my photo with the Seven Dwarfs, I continued to wander around Fantasyland, kind of over near the Barnstormer, and there she was, Cruella de Vil, and she had a really short line as well. It was a really wonderful character meet and greet, and she was perfectly in character. Even before I met her, she spotted me in the line and started to mock me in front of everybody else that was there for having no fur on my head because I was bald. Oh my god, I never expected a character just to start openly mocking you with an audience. It was just so funny and it really tickled my sense of humour. She was shrieking and laughing and pointing at me, and everybody in the queue was also looking at me and laughing, and it really did become quite a special moment because everybody in that line was just looking at me, and I was a little bit embarrassed. It was kind of, oh my god, I'm being picked on by Cruella de Vil. It was so much fun. When it was my turn to meet her, she continued with the banter. She was laughing and she was taking the mickey out of me. We posed for some photos and she was pulling faces. Honestly, I'll never forget this moment. It was just such a great character meet and greet. Once we had our photos taken and I was leaving, I said to her, "Goodbye, Maleficent." And she started to protest really loudly that she wasn't Maleficent. So I asked her, "Who are you then?" And she told me she was Cruella de Vil. So of course I had to say, "I'm sorry, I've never heard of you. I thought you were Maleficent, a proper villain." Well, that was it. She was just shrieking and screaming at me as I walked away. Honestly, it made the whole night. She was so in character. And it may sound a little bit lame just relaying it to you now, but honestly, it was so much fun. And that Halloween party was quite disappointing overall. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't feel I got my value for money, but Cruella de Vil made my night, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that interaction. It was just so great. Now, my second favourite character meet and greet was at Hollywood Studios, and this was with Kylo Ren at Star Wars Launch Bay. Now, I have met a lot of characters over the years, and I thought I knew the drill. You kind of get in line, you get ushered through, you pose for the photo, pull a cheesy grin, then you leave, your photos come from a photo pass, but Kylo had very different ideas. Not only was he super tall and very imposing, but as soon as I walked into the room, he told me to stand still and not move. He then walked around me, talking at me in quite an intimidating way, and I am not a person who is easily intimidated. Now, I just kind of froze. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of in shock at how good he was and how in character he was. It was like I was meeting the real Kylo Ren. He then posed for one photo and told me to leave. I kind of tried to ask him if I could have a second photo in a different position, and he just yelled at me, "I told you to leave. Now leave." And so I did. Honestly, I was completely blown away by how good he was, and also a little intimidated, and so I just did what he said and left. I can't believe it, I never do as I'm told. I was so shocked by this interaction that I decided I needed to do it again a couple of days later, just to see if it was the same and as good. Because I was really surprised that at Disney you'd got a character being so forceful with you. But I did get the photo I wanted the second time, but Kylo, he was scary, intimidating, forceful, and absolutely convincing. I cannot tell you just how wonderful this character experience was. Honestly, it was unique, and I will never ever forget it. Mikki, have you met Kylo or Cruella? And what's your favourite character experience so far?
Thanks, Dan. No, I haven't met Cruella or Kylo Ren. But we did meet Darth Vader and had a very similar experience. Very intimidating, and I just stood there like a statue. But that's not what I'm talking about today. My very favourite interaction with a character is the opposite of yours. I'm going to talk about the one and only Mickey Mouse. This interaction took place on our very first trip to Walt Disney World, our very first day. It was in the Magic Kingdom in 2016. We were queuing up as normal, and when we first went around the corner into the main room where you meet Mickey, he went up to our family a little bit in front of us, and as he walked up to them, he spoke to them. Now, at this point, I went nuts. I think my voice went to such a high-pitched squeal that only dogs could hear me at that point. My husband thought it was hilarious, but I could not believe it. In all my research and looking into things, I was completely unaware that Mickey talked, and it was such a surprise. It just made my day. And then when it got to our turn, not only was I meeting, talking Mickey Mouse, he pulled out a deck of cards and asked me, would I like to do a magic trick with him? What? It was amazing. It was a standard pick a card magic trick, but oh my goodness, it was just fantastic. I can't even describe how exciting that was for me. My first day at Walt Disney World. It made the experience unbelievably magical. I could cry just thinking about it. The photos, the first few photos, I think I'm just stunned. After that, I've got the biggest grin on my face. It was a brilliant experience to start our trip. I'm really sad that they got rid of the talking Mickey at Magic Kingdom, but I'm still so happy with every character that I can see. I'm a big fan of meeting characters, as is my husband, and we will absolutely queue up to meet characters. It's a huge part of our trip and something that we will do in all of the Disney parks anytime we can. Taylor, I know that you have two favourites, but only one of them was at Walt Disney World. Is that right?
You are correct, Mikki. I have actually many favorite character meet and greets, but two really stick out in my mind. One was at Disney and one was actually on a Disney cruise. Let me talk about the one in Disney World first. I have to start out by saying that Jake and I have a really special connection to the movie The Princess and the Frog. It was the first movie that we ever watched together when we started dating, and we actually danced to Mabel Evangeline as our first dance at our wedding. So it holds a really special place in our heart, and anytime we've ever met Tiana, it has been a great experience. But we had one really standout meet with her, and that was in September of 2019 at Mikki's Not So Scary Halloween party. It was our first Halloween party, and we decided to dress up as Ray the Firefly and Evangeline the Star, since we were celebrating our 5th wedding anniversary. And the only thing on my list that whole night was meeting Tiana in our costumes. Just like she normally does throughout the day, at the Halloween party, you can find her at the Royal Princess Fairy Tale Hall, which is right next to the castle in Fantasyland. We went back there right after the Halloween fireworks because they actually close off that area during the fireworks. So we hopped right in line and there was no one else in line. It was super great. We got through it real quick and we met Rapunzel first. She was wonderful, but then we went over and met Tiana, and the interaction was priceless. We walked up and, we told her we're Ray and Evangeline, and she was just living it up. Oh my gosh, my friends. And Jake actually had a fanny pack, I forget what you call them in the UK, a bum bag, on his back that was clear, and we put lights in it and he could flicker them on and off, and she just was losing her mind, and she was walking around and she gave us big hugs and she spent so much time with us. It was just really sweet and magical, and I have these wonderful photos and videos from that interaction now, and it'll always be one of my favorites. Just the amount of time she took with us, these two adults dressed as these obscure characters. It was just so nice. And then my second favorite character interaction was actually with Goofy on a Disney cruise. We were on the Wonder in 2018, and it was a Christmas time cruise. So he was in his little Christmas vest, and I found all of the characters on the Disney cruise really great, and because there's a limited amount of people, they really take their time with you, and this was no exception. So we got up to him and we did some normal pictures, but then he was counting down to us and making this diving motion, and I was like, what the heck is he doing? Could not figure it out. And then he dived and laid down on the floor and was like, you do it too. So luckily, one of the attendants had the camera and we were recording it, and he counted down and we dove down on the floor and struck a pose. And now we have this incredible picture with Goofy of us laying on the floor. I mean, I don't think anything like that would happen in Walt Disney World. So it was just really cool and special. And you can see that we were just having so much fun. It was wonderful. I really like meeting the characters, and I'm super glad that it's back. I have missed it the last 3 or 4 trips that I've gone on, and I'm definitely going to prioritize hugging Mikki and meeting some princesses when I go back later this year, because I really missed it. Okay, what about you, Carol? Tell us about your #1 character experience you've had so far.
Actually, Taylor, I have 2 amazing interactions. The first was Chewbacca at the meet and greet at Hollywood Studios, and the second was meeting the Evil Queen at Storybrooke Dining at Artist Point. So I'll start with Chewbacca. I was wearing an anniversary button, and the instant we entered, even before the cast member told us where to stand, Chewbacca ran up to me and gave me a huge hug. And let me tell you, he gives great hugs. Then somehow he managed to notice my husband's magic band, was a Darth Vader magic band. Now, we had nothing on our t-shirts, Darth Vader, just a little red magic band. And he pulled me to him and was like holding me away from my husband and pointing at his wrist and shaking his fingers. And it's just amazing to me how, without speaking, he could communicate his thoughts very, very clearly. So then we posed and got the traditional photograph with him, but that first interaction was just so spontaneous on Chewbacca's part, and I just loved it. I didn't think anything would ever top that. Now, for my second interaction, hold on. I must change my ears, because this one was all about the ears. So I had made myself a couple of ears. These ears had the evil queen in the center and the poison apple on the side. Now, the evil queen never breaks character. You just feel her evilness as you're called up, and you're just lowly peons as she's talking to you, and you just feel that ominous presence. Well, she saw my ears, and she directed the photographer to make sure that she took the picture with my headband and ears so you could see it clearly of one of her loyal, faithful subjects. So I was relegated to the role of a loyal, faithful subject until she was done with us and dismissed us from her presence. So those are my two favorite interactions. Chewbacca is also Helen's number one. You know, Dan?
Oh yes, I do know that. She had an absolutely awesome time meeting him. And yes, I've met Chewbacca as well, and he was really lovely to meet. Speaking of the Star Wars launch bay characters, I also met BB-8, and that was a super weird experience. I kind of didn't know what to do. It was kind of just sitting there, and I didn't know whether to crouch down, to hug it. It was awkward. So Chewbacca great, but BB-8 really awkward. Anyway, ladies, thank you for sharing your experiences, but I want to hear about more. So if you're still watching, get down into the comments and tell me your favourite character experience, and tell me why it was special to you. I'd love to hear all about them. For now, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate your support. Team, it's outro time.
If you like this video, please click like, giving us a big thumbs up.
And if you love characters as much as we do, and you have some friends that do as well, share this video with your friends so they can put on a list all of the characters they want to meet in the future.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you never miss when one of our videos comes out.
Please tell us in the comments what kind of videos you would like to see on our channel in the future.
Like normal, we will continue this discussion in our Walt Disney World Adults Only Facebook group.
The link is in the description below.
And as always, remember, never grow up.